today. Uh, I listen to Pants, the podcast, and I am the same age and I have the same memories of these people like they do of pop culture, and that's awesome. So we would meet every weekend. We were together all the time. Never mind. For the meeting of the shows, we would watch Outward and everything, and everybody had their favorite. Sometimes we could feel God, words are not good today. I am so exhausted. We would, be able to, I see ourselves in these characters, and we loved it. We loved the storyline with Alice and Dana. We loved everything. We loved the show so much, but there were some things that were kind of like, because it was kind of And a lot of people probably could not relate to the storylines, but it made for a good show. And also, a lot of kids today talk so much shit about the things that we had then. Like, this was what we had. This is everything that we had. We didn't, we don't, it's not like it is now where it's more accepted than it was. Alward and Queer as Folk, God, I love Queer as Folk so much more than Alward, I think. I'm going to be honest. Because sometimes I feel like a gay man, and I've said this my whole life. I think I'm just a gay man. And so we watched the Albert every weekend, and these are the things that we could see ourselves in, and that's what we had. That was what we saw. And people talk so much shit about it, saying, "Oh, it was horrible. I cannot believe they acted this way. I can't believe they portrayed this person this way. I can't." Dude, yeah, over time it's not gonna age well, or what have you, but that's what we had, and that we saw ourselves on TV every week to a certain extent, and we were excited because that's what we had. And now queer generation, whatever it's called, I watch it, yes, because I love still Alice. And now I think now, oh man, I don't even know. Like, it's good. It's good. The storylines are really good, especially with the older characters. I think it's really good. I feel like it's reaching the trans character. I feel like, I just feel like it's just a push for the character just to have a storyline, and it doesn't feel, God, words tonight. I am so tired because my cat kept me up all night. I'm sure somebody can relate to that. I had to kick her out of my room at 3 a.m. because she would not leave me alone. And I probably had like 4 hours of sleep. So I do apologize with my brain not being here. So, I forgot where I was going because I am tired and I just went a little off the subject. Oh, the queer, I feel like they're just pushing for that character to have a storyline, and I think that they could do better. With the older characters, of course, we love their storylines. I love Shane now. Before Shane, but young Shane, I could not give two shits for. Plus, she reminded me of my best friend back then, who was cocky as shit, tried to get everybody in bed, and so it was just like gross. Like, you drive me crazy. Like, not gross as in like, oh, gross as in sexing everybody, but gross as in just like, it's remind me of them, like your best friend. Like, it's just like weird. I don't even know. But anyhow, I think it was just the cockiness of Shane back then just really got to me. Now, grown-up Shane, love grown-up Shane. Oh my god, I would date grown-up Shane now. Not then, not at all. And I think it was probably because of the age, yeah. I'm wondering if my friend, if they would be grown-up Shane now. I don't know. I haven't talked to them in a while. But I don't think they're grown-up Shane now. I think they're a lot more something else, and can't say. But And with Queer as Folk, I feel that was a lot more fucking true to the storyline with gay men. Definitely, that storyline was true to everything that they said, everything that they did. That was it. Like, for real. And the storylines were great. The sex was fucking hot. Brian was sexy. It was a great show. And I think I have to say this. I loved it a lot more than the L Word. Even though the L Word, was portraying how I lived back then. Because I identified as queer, but mostly would say lesbian because I hung out with a bunch of lesbians. And it was the 90s, early 2000s. And the terminology wasn't very important back then at all. To certain people that it was, but it wasn't really. We were just us. And we didn't need to label ourselves because we were just living our authentic selves. And we didn't have to do that. I'm not saying that people today aren't doing that, but I feel like there's a need to have a label. A lot of people feel that they need to have a label. They need to have a name. They need to have a they need to identify with something. But I think it's because of everything that's shoved in today in people's faces about everything. Everything's shoved in people's faces today with everything. And so they feel that they need to be a certain way when they don't at all. And that was the great thing of growing up without social media, because we could be whoever we were. And we found ourselves an easy way by just living. And now it's just like, well, I'm going to change my name. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that's okay with you guys now. This is the way that you guys are learning. This is the way that you're growing. But I feel that it was so much easier for us back then because we didn't have to have social media in our face. We didn't need the connection to our phones. Like, our phones just had phone calls and text messages. And we mostly called or just showed up at our friend's house. Like, we were together all the time. There was no video chatting. There was none of these things that are today where you kind of are losing the connection to people. And I love to be without my phone. I tried to give it up, but my parents, 20 years ago, I tried to give up my phone. But my parents were like, nope, you need to have a phone so I can get a hold of you. And I'm like, but I do not want a phone. And they're like, too bad. You have your house home, but when you leave the house, we don't know where you're going. We don't know what you're doing. And I wasn't even living with them. And they're like, you have to have a phone. So I've had the same phone number for over 20 years now, you guys. So I think that might be a big thing. And we've had the same carrier for over 20 years as well. Like, we've been with Verizon forever. Verizon, if you want to sponsor me, please go ahead. I love you so much. But anyhow, so next, because I'm leading into this Che character. Oh my fucking god. You guys, I really love Sarah Ramirez. I really do. She's sexy as fuck. I've loved her since she was on Grey's Anatomy. I'm a big, huge Grey's Anatomy fan, even though I haven't watched any of the newer seasons because I'm, like, really behind and I have a life all of a sudden and I'm not sitting at home. Well, yes, I am now, but I have a life with work and school and family and all these other things that I'm working on. But I love her. But this Che character is such a douche. Like, maybe this is just the beginning because this is the first season. Then this is episode 8. She is such a douche, or they are such a douche. Sorry for genderizing, but they are just like a fuckboy. Seriously, like, just slide in my DMs. Like, I do not care for this character because of that. I want more in-depth of this person instead of the fucking character. Yes, they are an online personality and they have to be a certain way in public to be like, the Leonardo DiCaprio. Yes, I call him DiCaprio. And, all these other people that are in public that we see that act a certain way. And, this is just their persona. So I'm really hoping they go in deep, so deep with Che. I'm so hoping it goes in deep with Che that they are like, there's more depth to them. I so hope. But right now, I just think they're gross. They are disrespectful with, maybe, no, I can't say it's just because I'm older, but it's because they are representing the non-binaries out there. And I just feel that they're disrespectful. At least they asked for consent. So, spoilers, everybody. At least they asked for consent in the kitchen. So I'm glad about that. But just that fuckboy attitude, that's all that I'm feeling. And maybe, I don't know, is anybody else getting that? Just let me know. Hit me up. Let me know. Text me. Email me. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anything. Just let me know, because this character needs more depth. And maybe I'm not paying attention. Maybe I need to watch it again, because I was also watching it while I was working today, but we were working not on the phones. We're doing something special here. We're not working on the phones. We're doing only web cases right now because we have a backlog. And they're doing an experiment. We're an experiment. Isn't that great? I work for such a big company that I'm an experiment. Fun. So anyhow, but I feel that there's a sort of responsibility that you have when you are in the public eye, and you are supposed to be representing some of us. Because I don't really feel like she's representing very many people when it comes to the persona as an entertainer. Now, I get that, because I do know a lot of entertainers in the community, the gay community, that act a certain way, but because I know them on personal levels, then there's there's in-depth there. Like, I fucking know who they are, so I think it's different. So I'm really hoping that they show her in a better, them in a better light. And I don't know, man. I'm really enjoying it. This to a certain level, but not. I am a huge Sex and the City fan. Like, you would look at me and be like, how are you such a huge Sex and the City fan? Because, why? I am a gay man. I am queer as fuck. I swear. Like, I think it's because I mostly was around older gay men in the community, because I worked at a gay-owned video store, and that's who I was with. And my mentor, she identifies as queer as well. And, like, I just grew up differently. I was built different. Just kidding. So, with that being said, and the coming out and coming to terms with your own sexuality in an older age, being a late bloomer, a lot of that is happening, and I think we see it every day on TikTok. If you're on Queer Talk and the gay side of TikTok, whatever, and there's a lot of older late bloomers. There's late bloomers, a lot of late bloomers, and the one thing that I gotta say is you have to give respect to the past, because that is why you have the rights that you do. And honestly, I saw a TikTok the other day where a TikToker, she was talking about these youngins on TikTok fighting with people in her comment section about how they identified. And they were telling a bisexual that, no, you are not bisexual, you're pansexual. And they're like, no, I identify as bisexual. Like, don't tell me how to identify. Like, this is who I am. And that's what they want to identify as. And then there's, like, so many terms, and there's so many definitions, and everybody has things different ways. And it's just like, don't give a fuck. Just let them know, they're under the umbrella. Period. They're living their life under the umbrella, that beautiful rainbow umbrella that has many other flags now that we're learning. People are learning every day. And especially coming out at this time, like, oh my God, you have so much more to learn with all the different flags, and like knowing your culture